Hello everyone, and welcome to War Thunder. A lot of people may have been wondering recently, Jingles, where the hell are you? What are you doing? Why have you not uploaded any videos? What's going on? And that's a fair question. It's a fair question indeed. The answer to that is primarily, actually, I've been preparing to leave for university again. Lots of annoying stuff involved in that, more than you might possibly imagine, actually. Lots of bank stuff, lots of student finance stuff, lots of loan stuff, lots of accommodation stuff, endless forms to fill out, endless phone calls to make. It's very annoying. And I've been getting lots of headaches of late as well, and I need to book an eye test, frankly, I think, because I think eye strain might be the culprit at the minute. I'm doing lots and lots of work on computers at the moment. And I'm a tad stressed, frankly, as well, and yeah, I don't think it's a good combination. However, when I've not been doing that, I've been playing this game here. Some of you who follow me on Twitter will have noticed me tweeting variously about this game and my little exploits in it so far. But for those of you who don't know, or don't follow my Twitter or anything like that, what is War Thunder? Well, some of you who know me in real life, and some of you who know me just from a long time back on this channel, will know that I have something of an obsession with World War II aeroplanes. I really do. I've pretty much since I was, must have been about 5-6 years old, I have been slightly obsessed with aeroplanes. Oh, lovely, smoke alarms going off in the background. That means someone's cooking. Never mind, interruptions are banned, I'll just ignore it. It might not... stop now anyway. But anyway, so I've always been a little bit obsessed with World War II aircraft. Why? I don't know. I watched a lot of war films when I was much younger, and we used to go on a lot of family days out to Duxford, which, for those who don't know, Duxford is it's the Duxford Imperial War Museum, and it's a big what used to be an airfield during the Second World War. Which has been converted into a gigantic museum full of just loads and loads and loads of real-life aeroplanes from World War II and the Cold War and even the First World War as well. So it's a fantastic place. I've been there so many times. I know the place like the back of my hand. And ever since then, I've been slightly obsessed with aeroplanes. I have had countless Airfix model aeroplanes. I've played countless numbers of flight simulators. I used to play, Microsoft Combat Flight Simulator back in the day. It's the first computer game I ever really had on a proper computer, like a modern computer with Windows on. And I played it for, it must have been thousands of hours. Such a great game. It's a bit dated by today's standards, honestly. And then later on I graduated to stuff like IL-2 Stonevik, which is an absurdly realistic flight simulator. But anyway, I discovered this a little while ago. This is War Thunder. This is a free-to-play flight sim. I was going to say it's a free-to-play MMO, kind of online flight sim, but technically speaking, I don't know whether... I think you do probably require a connection to play it, because I think you have to log into your account to do it. But it does have single-player modes. It does have your good old... old-school flight sim dynamic campaign modes to play around in, actually, by yourself, if you so wish. But the bulk of this game is made up of multiplayer, and it basically dogfighting and flying around in airplanes shooting at other human opponents. And for those of you who've played, say, World of Tanks, for example, which is another free-to-play jobby like this, except with tanks instead of airplanes, this kind of setup will probably seem very familiar. But yeah, that's the basic gist of it. You get experience and you get credits, the in-game currency, and you buy and you upgrade aeroplanes and you fly around with them in battles, and you do your best not to suck at taking down enemy opponents. Now, I particularly like this game, well, one, because it's got World War II aeroplanes in it, and I love a good flight sim, but also because I'm actually remarkably good at it. I mean, having said that, I'll probably absolutely suck in the next battle I do, but, I got into this, the first battle I ever did, I managed to get a really, really good score, came top of the leaderboard, and I was just absolutely amazed, because I'm terrible at online multiplayer games. I am. Anyone who has played one with me will attest to that fact. I'm terrible at them. I suck at Chivalry. I'm terrible at Counter-Strike. I tried Dave Defeat once, was rubbish at that. Dear. Terrible at Dota 2. Rubbish at StarCraft. Me and multiplayer have never really gotten on until I played this. So, and I think this probably has to do with the fact that I am a little bit obsessed with planes, and I know all about how to fly these World War II planes and stuff, because I call this a flight sim, but it's really kind of the whole sim part of it is a little bit optional, honestly. Because generally speaking, I actually fly the planes in this, not with a joystick or anything that you might expect, like I do with like IL-2 Sturmovik or something. I actually play it with mouse and keyboard, because the game's kind of designed to be played with mouse and keyboard, at least at the lower levels. Because when you play this online, there's 3 types of battles you can do: arcade battles, historical battles, and full real battles. And arcade battles are kind of very action-packed. Anyone can play as any plane, fighting against each other, you know, just generally having fun. And the flight model is, very, as it says, very, very simplified. You can pull some ridiculous maneuvers, and it's just good for a bit of a blast. Then you've got historical battles, which are scenarios you can play where both sides have to be made up of actual kind of vaguely historically accurate aircraft, as in, if one side's playing as the Americans and the other side is the Germans, everyone on those teams has to be in an American or a German plane of a certain rank. And then you've got full real battles. Oh, and the flight models are a lot more realistic in these ones. And then you've got full real battles, which I've never tried before, probably never will, which is for the real simulator nerds, like people like 1FGF, basically, who love their IL-2 Sturmovik and know all about things like fuel mixture and prop pitch and crazy nonsense like that, you know, all the kind of stuff I never was able to understand myself. But if you're a really huge flight sim nerd, then full real battles are what you're going to want to play. But anyway, so this is what I've been playing, and I thought, well, I've been enjoying this so damn much. And one or two people did actually ask me on Twitter to do a little video about this. I figured I was in the mood for promoting something a little bit, so I'm going to promote this. And I'm going to load up a battle, maybe play a couple of battles, show you guys what it's all about, how it works, that kind of thing. Maybe you'll like what you see. Maybe you'll go ahead and give it a try yourselves. It is free to play, like I said. You know, I've got some premium currency here, and I do have a premium account because, well, I can afford it. A lot of the paying money for the premium stuff in this game is actually remarkably cheap. Having myself played a lot of PlanetSide 2, whose premium options are, let's say, a little bit extortionately expensive, I was, you know, genuinely surprised. Just like I think a 7-day premium account, which basically just doubles all the XP you get in battles, which is very nice if you don't like grinding. That was like £2. £2. I spend more than that at KFC when I'm peckish, you know. So that's not bad at all, honestly. So yeah, let's show you how it kind of works, right? So anyway, at the bottom here, I've got some planes. As you can see, these are planes that I have in these different slots here. This one, for example, this is a P-40E-1 Kitty Hawk, or I believe the Americans call it a Warhawk, but I always call it Kitty Hawk. Currently it's painted up as one of the Flying Tigers that you can see there, which were a squadron of American pilots who went to China during the Second World War to fight in the Chinese Air Force, well, alongside the Chinese Air Force, against the Japanese, and they flew these iconic P-40 Kitty Hawks with the, you know, the shark teeth on the side there. Pretty cool. I've got a couple of other skins for it, stuff like that. If you open this, you get the hangar view, where you can actually put decals on it, like all these different nose art bits and stuff. It's basically putting stickers on your plane. If anyone here has ever collected Airfix models and they put the little transfers on them and stuff like that, it's just like that. It's good fun. I like doing it. It reminds me of having Airfix models as a kid. You know, in many ways I enjoy this hangar bit here just as much as actually playing the game. But yeah, you have skins as well as these decal things. At the minute it's using the White 106 skin, which is this one. A whole bunch of other skins here I've not unlocked yet, but I've also got the bog standard Pacific War camouflage, which is this. Not bad, not bad. A little dull for my taste, honestly, but then I've got the 112th Squadron RAF camouflage, and even though this is an American plane, in the American slots, I can still get this cool little RAF North Africa skin for it, which I'm also quite fond of. So there you are. And let's switch it back to the Y106, because it's my favourite at the minute. And yeah, I've got other planes here. I've got an A-20G Havoc, I believe, which is a kind of light bomber, very, very fast. Good turret armor on it, stuff like that. Quite a lot of fun to fly, honestly. I've also got a P-39Q. This thing, again, with the shark decals on the nose. I'm quite fond of those, in case you couldn't tell. And a P-39N0 with this nice little checkered tail I put on it. So as you can see, so these are all American planes, as the more astute among you may have noticed. And as you can see, the planes, unlike in something like World of Tanks, they're all sorted by country. And basically, if you want to do a battle, you click to battle. But you can only play using the planes you've got for the country you've selected before going into a battle. So, for example, if I wanted to play as the Germans, I would have to select the Germans on here, and then go to battle, and then in that battle I would only be able to select from my German plane. So as you can see here, I've got a Dornier 27. I've got two Dorniers actually. I quite like Dorniers. So I've got this, which is like a night fighter version. Pick Ass ist Trumpf. Ace of Spades is trumps, it means, and it's got the Ace of Spades logo on there, and then a bunch of decals to show how many planes I've shot down. It's pretty neat. It's got these crazy radar aerial things on the front of it, which is. I've seen one of these in real life. I went to the Imperial War Museum in London, and sorry, no, it's at not the one in London. It was the one at what's the blasted place called? Not Biggin Hill. It's Tanmere. No. Anyway, it was a place that used to be an airfield in real life. But I've been there, and I've seen one of these monsters in real life, and they're gigantic, and they really do have these radar aerials on the front of them. They look absurd, but they were really, really dangerous airplanes back in the day. I've got a Dornier 217 here, which again I believe does have the shark teeth on the front. I quite like this one because it looks like a black shark of some kind. It's got that kind of nose on it. With these cannons and stuff on there. It's not as good as the other one, but I like it. We've got an HE-112, which is a weird aeroplane, which a lot of you probably won't have seen before. This was a fighter made by Heinkel just prior to World War II, and it was basically in competition with the Messerschmitt, and unfortunately the design didn't have quite as much potential as the Messerschmitt, so the Luftwaffe ditched it in favour of the Me-109. But it's still a nice little plane to fly around in. Pretty good. I've also got the classic Bf-109E from the Battle of Britain. Put a little Griffin logo on there just because I could. I thought it looks cool. And in true German fashion, his victories are marked in the form of beer mugs on the side of his aeroplane. So there we go. Nice aeroplane as well. And I've also got a Bf-110, which is a heavy fighter. Has a rear gun turret there. Bunch of cannons in the nose. Nice airplane, bit sluggish and slow though, honestly. And I've got a Junkers 88 A4 bomber, light bomber, very fast in a dive, and it's pretty good at just dropping bombs on the targets you want when you're on a ground attack mission. So I'm quite fond of this airplane. Used to have an Airfix model of one of these, so I'm a little bit biased, but I do love the Junkers 88. I've also got a couple of other planes which you can't see here because they're in reserve, if you like, because you get, when you start the game, you'll actually get planes like this. This is the HE-51A1. Nice little biplane, actually. As biplanes go, it's not bad at all, but you do have to work up what is basically the tech tree for each country by getting experience and money to unlock new planes. So as you can see here, this number at the bottom says I'm rank 7 in the German Air Force, which means I can pilot and buy up to rank 7 planes. So as you can see here, I've got the Bf-109E3, which is a rank 6, a couple of Dorniers, which are both rank 6, the Bf-110, which is rank 4, and I've got a couple of Heinkel 1... Well, in fact, I've got all 3 Heinkel 112s. This one's rank 2, this one's rank 3, and this one's rank 4. as well as my reserve biplanes, which you start the game off with. I've also got this lovely little thing here. Where is it? An HE-111. You can see the one that parked off in the background there. This, if anyone here has watched the film Battle of Britain, the one with Michael Caine in it and so on, from like the 60s or 70s, it was filmed at Duxford Airfield. They blew up a hangar in it. It was good. Anyway, anyone who's seen that film will recognise this plane. It's one of the bombers from the Battle of Britain. It's a bit of an awful plane, if I'm honest, in terms of the game, but I just absolutely love this thing. I think it looks amazing. Again, seeing one of these in real life at the Imperial War Museum, and they are really, really, really big. These things, actually, deceptively big. It probably doesn't look very big here, actually, but they're gigantic. This tail here is huge. I stood at the back end of one of these and looked at the damn thing, and it's massive. So yeah, anyway, this is a pretty low rank thing. I replaced it as soon as I could with the Junkers 88, because the Junkers 88 is quite simply a better aeroplane. But there you go. Anyway, so that's the Germans. This is the Russian tech tree. As you can see, like all the nations in the game available are the Americans, Germans, Russians, British, and Japanese. Some of you at this point may have been saying, like, why don't you play, you may have already suggested it in the comments, like, why don't you play World of Warplanes if you like World of Tanks? And the answer is, World of Warplanes does not feature the RAF, the Royal Air Force, and therefore I'm not going to play World of Warplanes until it features the RAF, because I think it's exceptionally silly to have a World War II online flight sim which doesn't include the RAF, which is one of the oldest air forces in the entire world. So, but, you know, I'll not rant about that too much. But anyway, so you've got the Russians here. All I have for them at the minute is biplanes. These are exceptionally good biplanes, I might add, but they're all I've got, because I've just... Russian planes were never really my thing. I don't know much about them, so I've not had much interest in grinding up through the ranks for these guys yet. Probably will at some point, but at the minute I've just got these little biplanes. As you can see, the tech tree for these guys is huge, because the company that made this game is Russian, so they know all about their Russian planes. So, but yeah, if you're into Russian planes, you're pretty well covered here. Now we've got my personal favourites, which are the RAF, for probably obvious reasons. This here is a Wellington Mark 1C medium bomber. It's pretty good. It's pretty bloody tough. I posted a screenshot on Twitter of this thing, actually, in one mission I did. And it had been completely Swiss cheese. It had so many bullets going through it that there was probably more air visible through the fuselage than there was actual fuselage. The damn thing's made entirely almost of canvas, I think. It's a big wooden and canvas aircraft. Historically, these things got shot down in droves, unfortunately, but in the game it's pretty good. It's got a nice big bomb load and that sort of thing. It looks quite nice as well. I like the Wellington, it looks good. We've also got the Fairy Swordfish, a torpedo bomber. This is literally only in my lineup in case we come up against ships on a particular mission. Because this is a torpedo bomber. You can drop torpedoes, sink ships with them. The Fairy Swordfish is kind of an iconic plane in a way, because this is the plane that essentially sunk the Bismarck, which was a very famous German battleship. They dropped some torpedoes, which took out the Bismarck's rudder, which sent the damn thing circling off into the Atlantic. And at that point, the Royal Navy was able to catch up with it and sink it. So these planes are pretty awesome. It's a terrible looking biplane. They get shot down pretty easily, but they're fun to fly. And I like the look of them. So I've also got Blenheim Mark IV, which is a very low rank medium light bomber. I'm quite fond of the Blenheim, even though it sort of sucks compared to the later bombers, honestly, but I still keep it around because occasionally it's quite fun to fly, especially if my Wellington gets shot down. I've got a Beaufighter Mark 6C, which is a heavy fighter, a bit like that ME-110 I showed you earlier. Bunch of big old cannons in the nose. It's really good at shooting down enemy bombers because it's got really, really high caliber weapons, even though it's not very maneuverable. I've got a Typhoon Mark 1A, which is another British fighter plane, which is kind of more of a ground attack plane, actually, this thing. It's stupidly fast, but not particularly maneuverable, honestly. I'm a bit undecided about this thing. I like the look of it, obviously, but I'm having trouble with it in battles, and in addition to that, I have the Spitfire Mark II, which is a lovely, lovely plane. Probably my favourite plane in the game as of this moment to fly. This thing is right now. It's such a good aeroplane. Such a good aeroplane. So manoeuvrable. Nice firepower as well with these cannons. And Spitfire Mark I, Battle of Britain edition. Another iconic aeroplane, really. Pretty good. It's just an earlier version of the Mark II, really. And I've also got this Spitfire Mark 5B, which I've not really played around with much because I pretty much only unlocked it yesterday, but it looks good to me. I like my Spitfires, in case you couldn't tell. I like them a lot. In addition to that, I also do have some Hurricanes, a pair of Hurricanes, a Mark 1 and a Mark 2. I believe I might have one of them already here on this lineup. No, apparently I don't. Anyway, I have a Hurricane Mark 1, which is this thing. Looks very nice. It's pretty good if I play a low rank game on purpose. This is the plane I generally bring with me because it's brilliant at shooting down biplanes. And I also have I think I have a Hurricane Mark 2. Yeah, I do. It's just not in that slot. There it is. Hurricane Mark 2, which is like the Hurricane Mark 1, except it has extra machine guns, and that's basically the only difference, which I'm totally fine with. So there you go. And you've also got the Japanese at the very end. I've not done a lot with these guys. I'm slowly, surely trying to climb through the ranks with this lot, though, because I'm told they're very, very, very good fighter planes later on. I've got this KI-61LA, a KI-45-2 and a KI-45-CO. These are two very good planes. Another heavy fighter type thing. But for a heavy fighter, it's remarkably maneuverable. I've got lots of kills in this thing. More than you'd probably expect from it, the way it looks, you know. An A5M4, got two of those actually. Tiny little low rank plane, stupidly maneuverable, which is why I kind of like it. I've taken down much higher rank planes than this one using this plane just because of how tight it is in its turns and stuff. Nice little early plane. I've got, yeah, like I said, the KI-61, which I'm still getting used to. It's maneuverable-ish, quite fast. It's got good armament, some cannons and such, big machine guns. The KI-43, the Hayabusa, I think it might have been codenamed by the Allies the Oscar, but I don't know. I might be thinking of a different plane, but I think it was called the Oscar. And this plane is nice. It's not very maneuverable. I mean, it's more maneuverable than probably most planes, but it's not great with the planes it usually goes up against. However, it has a magnificent rate of climb. This thing, you shoot down from a high altitude, pump a couple of biplanes full of holes, shoot way back up to like 1,000 feet with this thing. Nobody can catch you. It's absurdly fast for its level, and its rate of climb is monstrous when it's fully upgraded. 30 meters per second, which is amazing, considering this P40, for example, has a rate of climb of 7 meters a second. And this is not a bad plane by any stretch of the imagination, so there you go. I also have this A6M2N, which is basically a Zero with float plane thingy what's it's attached to the bottom. It's a very bizarre thing, honestly. It's essentially, in practice, it's basically a Zero, which is normally a much higher rank plane than this, except it's got these things stuck on the bottom, which make it much less maneuverable. Which means you can play it at lower levels just because it's kind of crap compared to the proper Zeros, if you like, none of which I have unfortunately unlocked yet. But nevertheless, it's alright. It's got magnificent armament on it, like a pair of cannons in the wings, some fairly high caliber machine guns in the nose. It will absolutely rip through most targets that it goes up against, so long as you can, you know, go 5 minutes without getting blown up in this thing, because it's a little bit accident prone, this aircraft, I'm going to be honest. So anyway, I hope that you've not been bored to tears by me going through all the aeroplanes. I'm taking this video as if I'm trying to introduce it to someone who doesn't really know what the game is about, and hopefully by going through these different hangars I've got full of aeroplanes, I can show you kind of how this works. So as you can see, look, every nation you have a certain number of planes, in a certain number of crew slots, which you can get more of by, you know, paying in-game money or the premium currency. So as you can see, like, the British are definitely my favourite based on the fact that I have a ridiculous number of crew slots for these things. You know, I've paid a fair amount of money to unlock more crew slots just so I can have more planes in each battle. Because the thing about the battles in this is, once a plane gets shot down, that is it. You can't use that plane again in that battle, and you're going to have to pay money to repair it after that battle as well. So the more planes you have down here, the more choice you have in a battle. So you might think, why on earth would you need 3 blooming Spitfires that are all practically the same? Well, the point is, there's a good chance one or two of them could get shot down, and if they do, I can just hop in another Spitfire like this Mark 1 if I want to, or the Mark 5, after the Mark 2's been shot down, and then just carry on being a Spitfire pilot if I want to. So you'll get to see that when I do a battle in a minute anyway. But yeah, and also down here, as you can see, I have a rank up here. This is my account name. It's not, funnily enough, called Jingles. It's called Sorcerer Dave. No prizes for guessing what that's a reference to, but and I'll explain that in a minute actually. But as you can see, I have a rank up there which is rank 9. That's like my level, my player level basically. But you also have ranks, as you can see there, in other countries' air forces. Like my rank in the USA is 6, my rank in Germany is 7, my rank in Russia is 0, my rank in Britain is 9, and Japan is 5. And that's the way it works. You rank up and you level up basically in different countries' air forces. I'm level 7 with the Germans, level 9 with the British. I'm level 9 with the British because I play them the most. You see, and that controls what types of airplanes you can fly, as I explained a bit earlier. So there you go. That's kind of all there is to it. You just progress through the game, you win some battles, you get some money, you get some experience, you rank up, you get more planes, and you just generally have a blast. Currently, as the British, I'm working my way up to rank 10 so I can unlock the Spitfire Mark 9, which I'm informed is a bloody excellent aeroplane. And I like Spitfires, so another Spitfire is great as far as I'm concerned. I'm also trying to work my way all the way up to rank 15, where I can finally get this, which is the Lancaster Mark 3, which is quite possibly a contender for my favourite plane in the world, or certainly favourite plane of the Second World War. No idea how this thing's going to perform actually in the game. It would suck if it was terrible actually in the game, but I kind of want the Lancaster just because I can say I have a Lancaster. Honestly, I love this plane. Seen a whole bunch of these in real life. Had the pleasure of even seeing one flying once, and I saw one take off as well. They are just, God, I love these planes. I really do. The Americans, for the American viewers, you'll be happy to know that the Americans get a whole bunch of B-17s, which are also very, very, very nice airplanes, which I have again had the pleasure of seeing multiple times in real life, flying, taxiing along the runway, and just sat around on the tarmac. I've seen both the Memphis Belle and the Sally B, I believe. I think I remember one flyover at Duxford. They had both the B-17s, Sally B and the Memphis Belle flying over, and it was absolutely glorious. I love these airplanes as well. Slightly more of a fan of the Lancaster, even though it's probably not technically as good an airplane. But it is such a pretty aeroplane, you know? Anyway, so I'm ranking up in the Americans as well to try and get my hands on one of those things too. They've also got other stuff, like the B-25 Mitchell, which is taking its sweet time loading. There we go. Which is, again, a very nice plane. Seen a couple of these in real life as well. There's not a lot of planes in this game, I'll be honest, I haven't seen in real life, frankly. I've seen a lot of aeroplanes. I really have. But yeah. Anyway, so this is how the game works. Basically, like I said, you go into battles, you rank up, you unlock more planes. Bish bash bosh, done. And so, what are the battles themselves like? Because that's the main attraction, isn't it? Well, what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you one or two. I'm going to jump into the British because I'm least likely to fail horribly with these guys, I think. And I'm going to show you some battles. Now, unfortunately, unlike a sensible person, I'm going to commentate on this live in a multiplayer game, which requires a fair amount of concentration, which means I'm probably going to suck horribly, actually. And this is my first time playing this today, so I'll need to get back into my groove a little bit as well. So expect buckets of fail as I attempt to fly this while commentating. But, you know, people requested to see this, and I'm happy to oblige, frankly. I didn't think people would be interested in seeing this, actually. I pretty much just assumed posting a video about a game like War Thunder would just be used as a platform for people to shout, "Where is the Skyrim? Where is all the Skyrim gone?" Which is on its way, don't worry, don't panic. But I don't know. You guys will be the judge of that, whether or not this is worth your time, I guess. And you know, if you really, really like it, I could probably do more videos, but no promises. So anyway, let's actually do a battle, and I'll show you what this is all like. I'm going to do an arcade battle. That's what I generally tend to do the most. Historical battles are good, but you have to be in the... I personally have to be in the right mood for it. If I just want to relax and have a bit of fun, arcade battles are the way to go for me. So I'm just waiting for the matchmaker to give me a session to join at the minute, and hopefully, at some point, it'll chuck me into a game, which usually doesn't take very long. Kind of depends on what servers you play. I'm currently on the US ones, just because the community is slightly better on the US ones than the EU ones. And obviously I don't play on the Russian ones, because I can't understand a bloody word anyone is saying in the chat, so... Oh, hello. I've not done this one before. Lonely Island. It's a brand new map. Ground Strike, Lonely Island. Okay, so... Mission objectives: destroy enemy planes and ground vehicles. I will probably goof off and do whatever the hell I fancy doing, frankly, though. Let's start off with the Mark 5B Spitfire. I'm trying to get a bit more experience in this thing anyway, so I can upgrade it. My Spitfire Mark II, which is my best Spitfire, is already fully upgraded, so there's less of a benefit to actually using that thing. So, as you can see, I'm flying my Spitfire. I'm in third-person view at the minute, which is generally how I play the game. You get more spatial awareness that way. But you can also go into a cockpit view if you so wish. Pretty cool, nice for the old immersion. Unlike most flight sims, it actually renders the pilot's arms and legs in the cockpit, which I actually really like. IL-2 Sturmovik never did that, and it always annoyed me. Yeah, you also have this virtual cockpit, which is a little easier to, you know, navigate with, and you have the third-person view again, which is what I'm going to be using. Because A, more spatial awareness, B, I get to look at my pretty aeroplanes. So yeah, I'm going to climb, get a bit of altitude right now, and I'm not going to dive in straight away. That's probably the big mistake a lot of new players make, is to jump straight into battle, charge into the middle of a whole bunch of enemies, and proceed to get themselves slaughtered. I'm going to climb up a bit right now, get some more altitude, so that I can look down on the battle. The golden rule, I think, slightly less in this game for obvious reasons, but the golden rule does still apply in that gamers quite often tend not to look up in games, and for some people this game is no exception. So if you can dive down on someone from high altitude, pump them full of bullets, and then fly off again, it's generally a good idea. But anyway, as you can see here, a lot of people are getting stuck in right away. I could be, honestly, but I'm too busy commentating. But what I'm really doing is getting the lay of the land, seeing what's going on, where the enemy planes are, and picking my targets carefully, because that's the way to win in this game and get a really good score. You want to pick your targets nice and carefully. Don't be in too much of a rush to get kills, because that will probably get you killed, honestly. So, for example, yeah, don't want to dive down there, because there's two friendly planes down there. One of them is going down already. He's got smoke coming off him, I can see. And a whole bunch of enemies, and diving into that right now would pretty much just be suicide. Quite literally. I'd pick up at least two guys on my tail, and they would shoot me down, no problem. So I'm going to fly over here. We've got some more friendlies. And I can see a Spitfire and a Hurricane down there, and I think the Spitfire's going down. That Hurricane, on the other hand, he's going after one of our bow fighters, I think. Nope, he switched targets. He's going after the AK-7. So I'm going to go say hello. I'm going absurdly fast right now, 650 kilometers an hour. I might have trouble aiming my plane at this speed, but we'll see. Never mind, someone else got him. Who was that? Oh, it's a bow fighter. No, fair enough. Flying a bow fighter is not terribly easy, so kudos to him for actually managing to do that. Outmaneuver a single-seat fighter like that. Gonna be honest, that's pretty good. And yeah, there's a bow fighter down below me right now. He's attempting to attack me, but he's not doing so very well, honestly. I can outmaneuver this guy till the cows come home. And there we go, he's down. Got the assist for it because someone else clearly did more damage to him, got the final blow, but I did enough to get some points out of that, which is fine. Nothing wrong with getting assists in this game. Does give you a fair amount of XP. So, there is a fair amount of incentive to sort of cooperate with your fellow players in this, especially this poor Wellington out there. I really hope someone doesn't go for him. I feel really sorry for Wellington players sometimes because the number of times I've just been blown out of the sky in one of those things by annoying enemy fighters is without count. So if he wants to go after those ships with his Wellington, then fair play to him. Thankfully, the other team seems to be just leaving him alone, which is good. And we've got a B-25 down there with pretty much half our bloody team after him, so he's not going to last very long. And what else have we got over here? We've got a Dornier coming in this way. He's nasty to hit head on, he is. He's got some massive guns in his front. And a pair of A-20Gs, and I forget exactly what an A-20G actually is, but I think it's just some sort of fighter plane. Oh, and there, I think he got taken out by our flak. Yeah, well, you know what? If you want to go after ships like that with lots of flak on them, then you know it's your funeral if you're flying slowly like he was. I've got Spitfire coming in here. Yeah, this is starting to get a little bit hairy, but fine. He's gone after one of our guys. I think he's shot him down. Now you can see here I'm firing ahead of him at this little target lead indicator, which you get in arcade battles, which is very helpful. Basically shows you where you need to put your bullets, you know, in order to actually hit the enemy. It's not totally accurate all the time, I find, but it generally speaking does the job. I've run out of cannon ammo now, so I'm just down to my machine guns, but I think it might be enough. Yeah, there we go, got the kill. I think we screwed over one of his flight services, his ailerons here, or his its elevators, sorry, at the back there, like that, or his ailerons, which are the bits that make you turn side to side, and he couldn't pull out of that dive. So the flight model in arcade battles like this is fairly forgiving. I can pretty much fly straight up like this for a ridiculous amount of time before leveling out and flying normally again. In real life you can't do that, we'll be honest. However, the way the damage is modelled on the planes is still relatively realistic. If you take out somebody's tail, like his elevators on his tail, he won't be able to move up or down anymore. Again, if you take out one of the ailerons on his wings, he won't be able to turn properly. So, you know, it's pretty good. If you aim for his engine, you might blow his engine up or give him a fuel leak, which will lead him to just, his engine will just cut out and he'll crash. So, it's one of the reasons I really like it. You know, aircraft in this game do not have health bars or anything like that. Like, I'm told they do actually in World of Warplanes. So, yeah, they don't have health bars or health, and you just shoot at them until they run out of health and they die. No, it's fairly realistic. It's still very flight sim-esque in that sense. Good grief, there's a lot of people down here right now. Just checking up behind me, make sure I'm not going to get pounced on by anyone. No, it doesn't look like I am. Oh my goodness, the whole bloody team is going down here after a few of our guys. I'm not sure what to do about it, honestly, because if I dive down there, it's quite, whoa, likely. Bloody bow fighters, honestly. And it looks like this BF-109 wants to get me as well. My days are probably numbered by now, actually. I'm going to be honest. Let's see if I can get the ME-109. There we go. I think I killed his pilot. He's off. He's going for a little sojourn with Davy Jones' locker right now. Right, yeah, this Yak-9's looking for support here, and I'm going to see if I can't give it to him. Yep, there we go. That's a dead BF-110. You're welcome, by the way, Yak-9. I'm pretty damaged right now, actually. My fuselage is shot to bits. As you can see, there's holes in it all over the place. Yep, I can see daylight through the fuselage at the back there. Unfortunately, there's nowhere for me to land. In most missions, each team has an airfield which you can land at, and you can repair your aircraft mid-game. But unfortunately, in this map, it doesn't seem to be the case. I'm pretty much just going to have to keep going until I die. Oh, this poor Wellington over. You know, I feel really bad ganging up on Wellington players. I really do. As a Wellington pilot myself, I always feel terrible if I shoot one of those guys down. He's just trying to get some kills and level up his damn plane. Leave him alone, you know. Of course, most players, if they see an easy kill, they'll just go straight for it. I tend to be a bit more... Well, I like to think I'm a little bit more chivalrous in that respect, honestly. Yeah, this A-20G, on the other hand, he's a little bit annoying. He's blowing up our ships, so we really do need to do something about him. Unfortunately, the A-20G Havoc, which I showed you earlier in my hangar, is really annoyingly fast. As you can see, he's getting further and further away from me, even though I'm chasing him at a relatively high speed. Big twin-engined, medium bomber, light bomber type jobbies. I'm not fond of trying to play against those guys. On the bright side, they generally tend to leave fighters alone. They usually go for ground targets, those fellas. And I don't blame them. That's where their advantages really lie. Swooping in, blowing up a bunch of crap on the ground, and then flying out of there so fast nobody else can catch him. You know. They do a good job of that. So... looks like we've got some utter children in the chat, unfortunately. Which is a shame. But never mind. Sometimes you'll get a game with a bunch of total retards playing, but sometimes you'll get a game with a bunch of really cool guys playing. Today does not seem to be the case, however. Oh! Right, yeah, that's definitely someone shooting at me and not just flak. It's an ME-109. Oh dear. And I think he's damaged one of my wings, so I'm not going to be able to turn as well. However, I am in a Spitfire, and a Spitfire will outturn an ME-109, generally speaking. So, he's in an E3 as well. It's a very early model of Messerschmitt, the first one you unlock in the game, and this is a Mark V Spitfire. So, I don't fancy his chances, especially since he's got someone on his tail right now. Go after this BF-109E. I don't think it's the same one that went for me, but I'll take it nevertheless. Stupid enough to get in front of my guns, then that's what you get. Oh, this fella on the other hand, I think he's got my number. Yep. I'm probably going down. This fella's going to get the kill. Fair play to him and all that. Ooh, got a bit of lag there. Yep, I'm done for. Oh, wow, that was the mission over. He didn't get a chance to kill me. So I got 0 deaths for that mission, which is nice. Not that it really matters, honestly. I don't think deaths really impact the amount of XP and stuff you get, so... There we go. Mission failed. As you can see, we didn't manage to win that, because, well, I, for one, spent most of the time just buggering about, commentating and shooting down other fighters, when I probably should have been attacking some ground targets in one of my bombers. But, you know, nevertheless... In fact, I had a blooming swordfish on that mission, and it's been ages since I had a mission with, you know, with ships on it, so I probably should have used the swordfish, but never mind. I failed the mission, but as you can see, I got a buttload of XP, because thankfully this game doesn't... One of the things I really like about it as well, this game doesn't really penalise you if your team sucked. And, you know, in this case our team really kind of didn't suck terribly, but unfortunately very few people actually went for the ground targets, which means we kind of lost. This guy here, Bugbuster 5, legend. He got 10 ground targets, so good for him. And Amon 7 got 5 as well, so good for those two. Not so good on idiots like me who went around trying to shoot down fighters the whole time, because that doesn't help you win the battle, really. So as you can see, I got a bunch of rewards for that. Primarily, I got a bunch of XP and I got some money. some silver lions, which is the main in-game currency up here. As you can see, silver lions is the main currency. Golden eagles is the premium currency, which you can then convert into silver lions if you so wish. So yeah, I got a load of XP, 16,370, which is fairly respectable, honestly, for the performance I gave, which was not amazing. Not my worst, by any stretch of the imagination, but it wasn't brilliant either. And you can see I got a bunch of other rewards here, which was a new modification for the Spitfire Mark 5B. And another one, actually. I unlocked the new airframe and compressor for it, which are aircraft upgrades, which I'll show you in a minute. And I got a battle trophy as well. I'm not really sure how those work, but anyway, give me some extra money. So, okay. And there we go. Back here at the hangar screen with my Spitfire. As you can see now, here, there's a bunch of buttons for each of these. They've got the hangar view, test flight, which means you can it basically just allows you to fly the plane around by yourself safely in a testing arena, just to see how it flies and that sort of thing. Change aircrafts, which means you can switch it out for something else in the list. Crew, which is your skills of your actual crew. So, for example, this guy, you have like pilot, you have gunners. This is for bombers, basically. So I'm not going to upgrade any gunners for my Spitfire because he doesn't have any gunners. Just as the pilot. Ground service and qualification. Qualification gives you extra bonuses. Basically, I can't really explain it in much detail without taking forever. These are a bunch of skills here for reloading your weapons and repairing your plane. These are a bunch of skills here which affect the way the game plays. So keen vision allows you to spot enemies at further distance. Visibility allows you to hide in clouds and stuff better. G tolerance is basically your pilot's tolerance to pulling some really fast Gs in tight turns. You may have noticed once or twice back there in that battle, the screen kind of, when I went into a really tight turn, the screen blacked out a bit. And that was me pulling some serious Gs, and my pilot was beginning to black out because of the force of gravity, basically, on the plane. And by upgrading your G tolerance, it basically makes that happen less often. Stamina is basically how long the pilot can go pulling my fast Gs and shooting at targets before he starts to get really inaccurate and weaker, basically. And vitality is it's kind of like your pilot's health bar, best way to describe it. Higher your vitality is for your pilot, the less likely he's going to get killed by a stray bullet and then just outright end you. And finally, you have weapons, which is not just weapons, really. It's kind of the entire upgrade screen for this particular plane. So, this is Mark 5B, as it says at the top there. Offensive armament consists of 4 7.7mm machine guns and 2, I believe, 20mm Hispano Mark II cannons, which are very nice. They just don't have a lot of ammunition, unfortunately. You can also select ammunition, which, damn it, was supposed to be selected to universal, but it seems to have defaulted back to the normal stuff, which isn't as good. Different types of ammunition for different situations. I would also be able to change the ammunition for my offensive 20mm cannons if I unlock the 20mm custom belts of ammunition. So as you can see, I've got a bunch of upgrades already installed. This fuselage repair, radiator, the new cannons. Also unlocked a couple of new ones here, this compressor and this airframe. And they improve my stats in various ways. For example, the airframe adds 1 kilometer per hour to my maximum speed, 0.6 meters a second to my climb rate, and minus 0.4 seconds to virage time. What the bloody hell virage time is, I have no idea. But anyway, it's probably good. The compressor adds 8 kilometers per hour to my max speed, and plus 0.9 meters a second to my climb rate, plus 39.1 horsepower to my engine power, which is nice. Doesn't sound like much, but this all adds up. That's the main thing. And plus, the more things you have to unlock a certain amount of things on this level, so you can see all these levels here are like 1, 2, 3, and 4. You have to unlock a certain amount of upgrades on each level to progress to the next level of upgrades. And further down, like when you get a new engine, that gives you some seriously big bonuses, like plus 11 kilometers per hour to your max speed, plus 1.3 meters a second to climb rate, which is a big bonus. Then you get wings repair, engine throttle, and cover, as well as upgrades to your weapons as well. So slowly progressing down this tree. I could just actually buy these with the premium currency if I wanted to. see here, like buy 130 Golden Eagles. I do that occasionally for some planes that desperately need the upgrades for me to actually fly them properly. But generally speaking, it hurts my wallet a lot less to actually use the in-game currency, which you slowly get over the course of battles, to upgrade your planes. Because to get each upgrade, you not only have to have them unlocked via getting a certain number of upgrades from each level, you also have to get a certain amount of experience with that plane. For example, I can't get these new 7mm MGs yet because they require 44,000 aircraft experience, and I currently need 9,400 more experience before I can unlock those. So yeah, or I could just skip it and buy it with the Golden Eagles if you want. And you know, do that, which I do sometimes with some aircraft, like I said. But here's the thing. Right, okay, this brings me to a point which some people might raise who are sort of considering this game and looking at it from a free-to-play standpoint. You might look at that and you might think, well, you're just buying power, that's like pay to win, that's not, you know, proper free-to-play, it's pay to win. Here's the thing, it's really not. You can buy upgrades for your plane to just make it better, and in essence, I suppose you are buying power, if you want to look at it that way. But the thing about this game is having a good plane will really only get you so far. To play this game properly, you really need to have your head screwed on straight. As you can see, most of that match I did just now, there are probably only a couple of instances where my plane statistics actually did me any good, and those were, I think it was probably trying to survive the onslaught of that ME-109 at the end there, and managing to slightly outturn him even though my wings were damaged. That was mostly down to my plane's performance, but for the most of that, it was actually down to me, my own personal skill. I was, you know, as you saw, I was floating around at the top, picking my targets carefully, and that's what this game's all about, really. You can fly one of the rank 0 biplanes and you can shoot down a Spitfire if you're clever enough. And I've done it before. I'm not making this up. I have done it before. I've shot down planes that are 5 ranks higher than me in this game just because I was clever about it. And you get an award for that as well, actually, which is quite nice. You get some bonus XP and money and stuff. It's been said before that in this game anyone can kill anyone, and I think that's largely true. And when it comes down to it, buying these upgrades for real world cash, all it really is you just wanting to skip ahead and cut down on some of the grind. Because if you don't really like grinding, and I'm not terribly fond of grinding myself, you know, it can be a good idea to do that sometimes. Plus you can spend, you know, the premium currency on, you know, just other random like cosmetic upgrades and things like that, new skins like I showed you earlier, and new decals for your plane. I've spent probably a slightly alarming amount of money on just basically stickers for my aeroplanes. But I like being able to personalise each and every one of them. It gets me a little bit more attached to them, if you know what I mean. It's like customising the way your soldiers look in XCOM. No real point to doing it, but you do it because it's fun. So there you go. That, ladies and gentlemen, was War Thunder. I'm probably not going to do another battle just now because otherwise this video is already probably ridiculously long. But yeah, that was War Thunder. It's a lot of fun. I highly recommend you play it if you have a passing interest in World War II aeroplanes. I really do. It's a lot of fun to play. You don't, like I said, you don't need a joystick or anything like that. If you've been put off by flight sims in the past because, well, you know, I'd love to, but I can't afford a joystick. You don't need a joystick for this. In fact, I would recommend, even if you do have a joystick, using a mouse and keyboard. I started off this game trying to use a joystick, and it, you know, you can't aim properly with a joystick. Obviously, in some things like historical battles, it can pay to use a joystick, but generally speaking, you're better off with mouse and keyboard. That's what the game is primarily designed around. It's very, very accessible from that point of view. This game does not have a terrifically big learning curve either. I mean, it helps the fact that I already know a lot about World War II air combat, and I was able to use that knowledge to my advantage that I gained from reading history books and such, which, by the way, is a brilliant thing. If you have knowledge about the period and the way these planes fought and stuff like that, and the particular characteristics of the individual planes, it will give you a huge advantage in the game itself, and that's perfect. That is the way a proper flight sim should be, regardless of how arcadey the actual flight models in the, say, like the arcade mode actually are, you know. So you know, yeah, seriously, massively recommend it. And yeah, War Thunder, this is what I've been doing in case you were wondering, and hopefully the people who did want to see this video have been satisfied somewhat. And if you really like it, I could probably do some more at some point. Don't know how regular it would be, but it's something I'm doing a lot at the minute, because unfortunately once I get to Norwich, when I go to university there, the internet connection I will have at the house I'm staying is so abysmal, I won't actually be able to play any online games. I won't be able to do live streams. I could just about upload videos, and that's kind of it, unfortunately. And it's going to suck, frankly. I won't be able to play this anymore. So I'm kind of making the most of it now. So if you do want to see videos of this, then now is the time. That's all I'm saying. So yeah, that's pretty much it. Oh, right, yeah, okay, yeah, I did mention it. I did say I'd mention this out. My profile on here, if you do want to find me on here, by the way, can't promise you I'll reply to every email and whatnot, but if you do want to find me on here, the name is Sorcerer Dave. It's not Jingles or Jingles 1215, it's Sorcerer Dave. Why is it Sorcerer Dave? Well, as some of you may or may not know, there is a gentleman on YouTube who is actually employed by the same partner network that I am, TGN. And he is also, he's called Jingles. He's the Mighty Jingles, and he does loads of World of Tanks videos, and he does loads of War Thunder videos that are very, very popular in the War Thunder community, in the World of Tanks community. So, I was presented with a bit of a unique problem when I started playing this, because my original username was Jingles 1215, and unfortunately, people mistook me for that other Jingles, and I was getting ganged up on in a lot of battles. People would say, typing stuff in the chat like, everyone get Jingles. And I was sitting there thinking, I didn't think I was that popular with these sort of guys on YouTube. And then I suddenly realised, oh wait, no, there's another Jingles, and he does War Thunder videos. They must think I'm him. So I pretty much had to change my name, because one, getting ganked by multiple guys going after me just because they thought I was someone I'm not was not fun, and also I didn't want to be accused of impersonating anyone, because that's a really kind of sad, weird thing people sometimes do on the internet, and I didn't want to get accused of doing that myself, so I decided, you know what, I'll change my name, might as well. Yeah, there you go. I've spoken to the other Jingles. He does some brilliant videos, by the way. Seriously, if you want to watch more War Thunder stuff and can't be bothered to wait for me to upload anything else, go watch his stuff. I'll put a link to it in the description, probably, if I remember. He makes some fantastic videos. He does World of Tanks stuff as well, if you're interested in that. And he also does other videos, like he did a few videos of him going to an air show at Duxford Imperial War Museum, which is a place I mentioned before, which are a really great thing to watch. If you've never been to Duxford, those things are well worth a watch, because it's such an amazing place. And he's a really great bloke, and I have spoken to him before. You know, I said to him, because someone pointed me out to him, someone pointed him out to me, and I sort of sent him a message saying, oh god, this is a bit awkward, isn't it? We're both employed by TGN, and yet we both have the same name. And I basically offered to change my name, because I hadn't been doing this as long as he had. You know, he did his channel for a lot longer. He has a much bigger subscriber following than me. And he was very, very nice about it. He was very polite, and he said, no, don't worry about it. Don't worry about it. The stuff we produce on YouTube is different enough for it to not really matter, I think. So that was very nice of him. But yeah, on this, certainly in this game, yeah, I did have to change my name to avoid any confusion. So there you go. I don't know if I'll ever... Maybe one day I'll have to change my YouTube name as well. Goodness me, that would be a bit strange to do. I've used Jingles as an online handle for God knows how long. But yeah, if it ever does become a problem, I suppose I would have to change it. Don't know what to. Sorcerer Dave seems pretty good to me, actually. I've grown quite attached to that already in the few weeks that I've actually had it. But yeah, there you go. Anyway, enough of me babbling. I'm going on about useless crap that's nothing to do with War Thunder, really. Anyway, yeah, that was War Thunder, everyone. I hope you enjoyed it, and I will have some more Skyrim on the way at some point. Don't worry. I'll also have more Oblivion on the way at some point, so don't worry about that either. I haven't forgotten about it. I've got Baldur's Gate ready to go. I've got some more Invasion Barbarorum ready to be rendered, and then it'll be ready to go. These things take time. What can I say? I've got lots of videos that all need rendering, and rendering a video takes a long time. It really does. It takes hours to do, just for the sake of like a single video. So, yeah, if I'm not uploading things for a period of time, it's probably because I haven't had time to render anything new. So there you go. And my hard drive is only so big, so I can't record new stuff sometimes. So, there you go. Anyway, have a nice day, everyone. TDFN, thank you very much for watching. I'll see you again pretty darn soon.